right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Motor City Uncut. First time in 9 weeks. We've been off since May 21st, so it's July 30th, episode 170, presented by the Major Sports Network. It's good to be back, guys.
Yeah. It's great to see your beautiful faces. I missed you guys. I did. Look at that smile. I knew I was going to get that smile from you.
Yeah, Sean, the beard is still beardly.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It's looking even better than I think last time.
Have you actually done anything to it since we
last time? No, just letting it grow out.
Usually do that in the winter because it gets kind of itchy. And
I'm way past that stage now.
Oh, okay.
Way past
at this
that
point,
stage.
the itch,
like I don't even feel anything get to it. I don't even feel air or anything like that. I'm pretty sure
good
if I shaved it off, it'd be like dry skin, like all the way through here.
You'd have the weirdest tan line.
I know.
I never realized that you should shave it now just for that.
That'd be really
just because I want to see the.
That would be several months worth of effort wasted.
Yeah.
That's
just to see what your tan line would look like.
Yeah.
How about you just shave? How about you just shave like the bottom chin area?
That's like right here.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird. Like it'd be like growing out like this.
I don't know. We'd come up with some way to like turn you into like some sort of one of the characters in the Lord of the Rings or something.
Oh yeah, you get beard. I'm like braided and stuff like that.
Sprouts.
I put beard oil and stuff like that in it, so it might not.
Oh, you have to at this point.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, it's gonna be. It's probably already a flaky mess.
Oh yes. When I don't do it, when I move it, I
we've done 5 minutes on Sean's beard.
That
That was not on the rundown.
Hey man, it's all good. I see like a fluff.
Oh wow, it's soft.
I know.
It's soft. Dorf, touch that.
Yeah, feel it.
I'm
Come
okay.
on, Dorf. Come on,
I
Dorf.
am not gonna.
Come on, touch the beard.
Grope another man's beard.
Touch the beard.
I am not groping another man's beard.
Yeah, that's
That kind of feels good when you rub it.
That's soft.
Do I need to leave, guys? All right. Anyway, trading deadline is tomorrow in Major League Baseball. No news to report so far on the Tigers front. Al Avila, remember?
And no news is not good news.
No.
Yeah.
There should be 5. You should have to, rent a charter plane to get 5 guys up from Toledo tomorrow for the game.
Which I'm sure they don't need.
A lack of action on this front. You should have 5 guys in new uniforms by the middle of the day tomorrow. Now, the last time I kind of made something, the trade will never happen. It happened literally while we were on the air.
Yeah, wasn't that the Prince Fielder?
Prince Fielder, Ian Kinsler deal. We literally had a segment at the top of the show about how, Prince Fielder would never be moved because the contract was too ridiculous, and like 15 minutes later,
he was gone.
He was gone. Good radio. I believe there was a lot of holy shit.
Are you trying to get that started now? Maybe.
I'm hoping that there's some sort of influence I can have on the situation. But just some names here that should be going by 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock tomorrow, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
It's 20 hours, 32 minutes, and 56 seconds.
Sean's not counting or anything. Leonis Martin for sure. Both Mike Fiers, Francisco Liriano. Jose Iglesias, see if you can find a taker. However, contenders really don't need shortstops. Or really second baseman, for that matter, if you want to move him somewhere else.
Victor
Martinez, if you can find
anything,
some poor sap to take him.
Anything you want.
Can you stock my vending machine for the rest of the
season? I'll take your ball boy. He's good at grabbing.
You know those batting practice balls you used today? We'll take them.
How about that net in center field when you're doing practice?
Oh yeah, the turtle. Yeah, we'll take that. And that landscaping gator. Ours needs new brakes, and we're just too cheap to put them on. No, hell, trade him for a groundskeeper. Another pet peeve of mine. Comerica Park, the grass at Copa has looked like shit for like the last 6 years.
A lot of concerts, man. That's what it's from.
No, it looks like fucking mold is what it looks like.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it could be concerts too. Mold and concerts. I mean, it doesn't look good on opening day.
No, harsh winters in Detroit, man.
Yeah, whatever. Any hoozle.
No, I agree with you. I mean, they got to do what they can with these trades. I mean, I know they really don't have a lot to.
Honestly, they turn back into a pumpkin here at midnight, guys, or 4 p.m. in this case. Take anything, literally anything you can get. These guys don't mean anything to you after tomorrow.
No, that's what I was saying is that they don't have a guy right now that is like one of those guys that's going to net you a lot.
Somebody gives you something for John Hicks. You take it.
Yeah,
anything. I mean, because nothing is nailed down. Nothing. I mean, if you're sitting here talking about Michael Fulmer, getting rid of him, I know before he got injured and everything
somebody
like that.
gives you something for Nico Goodrum.
Do it.
You take it.
You know what though? I know all the hoopla and everything about trading Michael Fulmer.
He's on the disabled list.
I know he is. But you know what? For that reason alone, if I was even in the boat to trade him, and I'm not, I don't think they should. I still wait. Even if I want to trade him, I wait until the off season. Do it in the off season, or even do it next season when he has another opportunity to be healthy, has another opportunity to just be better.
Yeah,
all around.
Guys like Shane Green should probably be on the move. Luis Coleman, not that you'd get much, if anything at all for him. You might get cash. You might be able to sell him to somebody.
Well, it's the same thing you have to do with Victor. If you even think about getting Victor.
Oh yeah, it's going to be
sell him, throw in a prospect really low.
I bet you it'd be one of those you'd move him for bonus money, Victor in cash for international bonus money or something.
There you go. Even though I don't spend anything on when it comes to international prospects or anything.
That's a whole nother show day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm already gonna raise people's ire with this next topic here, which we kind of teased throughout the day today. Jack Morris's enshrinement in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is I'm going to use this word, and I understand the gravity of it, but it's a travesty. He wasn't that good, guys. He doesn't belong. I did a pretty thorough, angry write-up about it today. I had a coworker of mine, kind of slow day at the office, come up to me and say, "Oh, Jack Morris is the greatest thing since sliced bread," and that made me angry. So I wrote like 1,000 words on why he's not. Jack Morris, outside of the guys that were enshrined that played in the 1800s, is the worst pitcher in modern baseball to achieve Hall of Fame status. There's a reason he didn't make it in on the 15 ballots. Oh, by the way, it's only 10 now.
Yes.
There's a reason he didn't make it in 15. He's not good enough.
He got a mercy vote.
Yeah.
He got mercied in, and
I mean, if you're Jack Morris, you fucking take it, because you know what? If you're Jack, no one can take this away from you, and that's great.
and that's the thing too. Is nobody's.
You have now the thing about the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is it's uber exclusive. This isn't basketball where everybody goes.
Right.
This isn't football where pretty much anybody who is any good for more than 5 years goes. I'm not sure what the NHL Hall of Fame's like. I'm honestly not. But it's not. I know it's not as exclusive as Major League Baseball.
No, it's not.
That's what makes it great. That's what makes it the premier U.S. Sports Hall of Fame.
No, you're right. You're right. It is much more exclusive. It's not like the NBA Hall of Fame or the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's certainly not like the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think the Basketball Hall of Fame is
it's a fucking joke.
It's the biggest joke out of all of them. I mean, baseball is certainly more exclusive. I mean, there are gripes that I have about the process to get in, and you could say that about any sport though. When it comes to Hall of Fame balloting, it's you're either a Hall of Fame or you're not. Okay. And when you have these multiple chances to get in, I mean it kind of sullies the whole process and who you are as a Hall of Famer. So. But continue, Dorf.
I'm going to throw some names out here, guys. All of these guys have a more compelling Hall of Fame case by the numbers than Jack Morris, but won't even be considered. Some of them didn't get a vote on their first time. Others aren't eligible for it yet and won't get a vote. Brad Radke has a more compelling Hall of Fame case.
That's pretty bad.
In the AL Central here, he pitched for the Twins forever. Remember how shitty Brad Radke was?
Yes.
Brad Radke is pretty good.
By the numbers, he is a better player than Jack Morris.
Is Carl Pavano better than Jack?
He is not one of the ones I pulled, but I don't think so.
It's a good case right there.
I don't think so. Carlos Zambrano. Is he a Hall of Famer in your mind? No, of course not. He was out of the league at like 32. By the way, believe it or not, he's trying to make a comeback. He's playing in the Mexican League right now, trying to make a major league comeback.
Fierce gumshoer too.
Yeah.
Remember when he broke his tooth on the mound?
I don't remember
chewing his gum too hard.
Roy Oswalt, very nice pitcher in his prime.
Does he have a World Series ring? and stuff like that?
Yes, the first time Houston won.
Yeah, then I think
World Series rings don't matter. I mean, that shouldn't be...
Okay, so, and I put that's part of the argument later down the list here. I mean, Jack doesn't have, like, one of the automatic qualifiers, like winning 300 games, 3,000 hits. You know, I put it in there as 3-time Cy Young, or 3 in a 5-year span, or 3-time MVP, or something like that, where you would get in, even though if you fell short on everything else. He doesn't have that either. Guys, he was only a 5-time All-Star.
You're talking about Morris?
Jack Morris is only a 5-time All-Star. He never finished higher than 3rd in the Cy Young.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Looking at his ERA every single year, he's never had an ERA under 3.
He has so out of the guys that went into the Hall of Fame as what you would consider starting pitchers primarily. So they pitched the vast majority of their innings as starting pitchers. So this is out of the 79 total pitchers in the Hall of Fame. Baseball Reference generated a list of 66 that meet this qualification. He is last in ERA, and it's not even close. He is like 0.8 of a run higher than the median. Not the median. He is, out of those 66 guys, I'm going to just run through some stats here. He is 60th in WAR. He is in the prime 7 years of his career. He's 64th in WAR, 33rd in wins, 37th worst in losses, last in ERA, ERA plus. So I don't know how familiar people are with that metric. That's just, so 100 is average. It is weighted for your era and the time that you played. Every number above or below, so if it's, say, 101, you are 1% above the average. His career ERA plus is 105. 36th in games started, 55th in complete games, 55th in shutouts, 36th in innings pitched, 35th in hits allowed, 49th in earned runs, 56th in walks, and 23rd in strikeouts. So he literally dominates not one of those categories. He's not in the upper third in a single one of those categories.
Oh, his FIP is below 4, though.
I was just looking at that.
I would want it, like, barely above 3.
It's at 3.94.
His ERA's 3.9.
So he was just a little bit...
Okay, so, I mean, if you even go to the wins above replacement.
He was just a little bit unlucky.
Wins above replacement, believe it or not, it's not perfect, but I will, you know, you can fight me over the fact that it's not the best way to measure success and contributions to a team's winning effort across generations. We can go 12 rounds on that. There are currently, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 active pitchers who are ahead of him, including Bartolo Colon.
Dude, Bartolo has to be.
Dude, big
Bart. You have to put Bartolo in.
Big sexy has to go.
No, if you don't put him in baseball,
sorry, that's not active. So guys that are still active are not yet eligible. Tim Hudson. What do you consider him a Hall of Famer?
No.
Well, he's worth 15 more wins than Jack Morris.
And that's going off of Jack Morris's big, big argument. He's the winningest pitcher of the
80s.
Winningest pitcher of the 80s. I saw another
guys like Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke, Cole Hamels, Max Scherzer, Felix Hernandez, and Bartolo Colon. They're not done yet. They're still ahead of him. Like for Greinke and let's say Kershaw, probably Max Scherzer, they've got at least 5 years left each.
And Kershaw and Scherzer will both be in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean Max Scherzer right now only sits at 51.5.
And how old is Max Scherzer?
32.
Okay, so he has another.
He's got 5 years left, 4 years left on his deal. So.
Yeah, and as far as quality baseball goes, pitching in the National League, he's probably got at least another
6 or 7.
Yeah,
if he wants it.
Well, the way his pitching style.
Oh, and just look at like his numbers over the last couple of years. He's going to add at least six to that number every year.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, he might break into the top 25 by the time he's done.
I like liking the Ray comments towards us. Go ahead.
John Lester and Chris Sale, by the way, are less than a win behind him. They're both still active too. Guys that are still eligible that haven't made it as well, that are higher up than him. Out of So this is ranked Baseball Reference's measurement of WAR by their all-time ranking. That's the number I'm going to give you. Number 3, Roger Clemens. That's another topic for another show. He's no longer eligible.
Which is
he is worth
it's stupid.
He is worth almost 100 wins more.
Stupid.
Just like 98 wins more.
Okay, hold on, Dorf. I just want to read this comment because it kind of fits in with what you just said. We had
Roger Clemens is 3 times the player.
Aaron comes in and says him and Tram should have been in the Hall along with Sweet Lou years ago.
No.
Instead, hold on.
Should be.
Instead, we have all these steroid-filled chumps, getting in on the first year. I don't know. I mean, he mentioned something about steroids. The steroid guys, I mean, the blatant steroid guys
aren't
in. No, they're not in at all.
They're not in.
Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens, they're all not there.
Barry Bonds.
Rafael Palmeiro, who's trying to make a comeback at 50.
None of them are in. Nope. And even so, let's say steroids had something to do with it. Mm-hmm. You just mentioned something very, very compelling, Dorf. Roger Clemens is worth 100 more wins than Jack Morris's. His big,
like 98.
His big stat. His big stat that everybody uses to argue him into the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. How much is steroids really going to play into that? Steroids has nothing to do with skill. Nothing. Nothing at all.
Stronger. Yeah. It helps with longevity.
It helps with longevity, but as far as skill goes, steroids does nothing for you.
Right.
You still need talent in order to bring everything together.
Mm-hmm. To succeed at that level.
The steroid that's why the whole steroid argument isn't it's not a good argument. And it's especially not a good argument if we're sitting here talking Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. It's just not.
Jack Morris, by the way, is 149th in career wins above replacement among pitchers. 149th. There's 79 guys in the Hall.
Somebody's unfollowing us because of your opinion, Dorf. Thank you.
Well, if you were paying attention, I wrote the same article about Tram in January of 16. So
they might unfollow us twice.
Hey, and you know what? I'm not convinced that Lou Whitaker doesn't belong. Believe it or not. Second base is a lot less talented position comparatively to like shortstop and pitcher. Mm-hmm. It's a lot less to go around.
It. But I still think he deserves it more than friggin' Morris.
Oh, absolutely, he does.
Well, Trammell deserves it more than Morris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trammell was worth an extra like 15 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before, though, Dora. I mean, Trammell's big thing, one of the big things with him is he stuck around too long. Mm-hmm.
Stuck around too long.
But there's an argument.
His last 5 years were bad.
But there's an argument that could be made as far as that's much more arguable. Somebody sticking around too long and having their stats be skewed because of that than what Jack Morris.
Yeah, he just was
throughout his career. Yeah.
Curt Schilling, Mike Mussina, they're both still eligible.
The Moose Man.
They're worth, Mussina is worth just under double, and so is Curt Schilling. Mm-hmm. And wins above replacement. Guy I'm sure no one has ever heard of, Rick Rochelle, pitched for the Cubs in the 80s, 70s, and 60s, 70s, and 80s. He's worth an additional 30 wins, almost 30 wins compared to Jack Morris. He got 2 votes on his first appearance, and that's it. Guy's worth 30 extra wins in the same era. Got 2 votes. Kevin Brown. Retired in the mid-2000s.
I remember Kevin Brown.
Most famous, probably pitching with the Dodgers. Finished his career with the Yankees.
Yeah, he's probably most famous for punching the wall.
Yeah. Did he play? Yeah. Did he play with Houston? I don't know why. I don't think he played with Houston.
I'm not sure.
So.
Yeah.
68 wins above replacement. Luis Tiant. 66.5. He went all 15 ballots. Never made it. Never think I got above like 51%. David Cone.
Nice.
Pretty 62.8. Made 1 appearance, 21 votes. Out. Tommy John. By the way, who in that 30 for 30 about the Tommy John surgery was called unremarkable. 62 wins above replacement. For his career. Sure. Brett Saberhagen.
Brett Saberhagen was amazing until he blew his arm out.
He was worth 50-something. 7 votes in his only appearance. Chuck Finley. Worth just slightly more than Jack. Worth about 10 minutes more than Jack. Got 1 vote. 2008. Yeah, Jack Morris is in the Hall of Fame over all these guys.
I'm still trying to. What's the argument for him to be in?
Winningest pitcher is 80.
Wins
are the least important stat.
Right.
It's not.
It's not an individual stat when it comes to
pitchers.
Bunch
of
pitchers.
Wins, but when you have an ERA of almost 4 and you're getting into the freaking Hall of Fame,
it just means you have a good offense. To back you up.
You're on good teams.
Yeah. and I don't want to punish anybody for being on a good team.
So now these 2 other guys I'm going to mention were not actually on the Tigers at the same time as Jack, but they also both have more compelling Hall of Fame cases.
Go ahead.
Mickey Lolich and Frank Tanana.
Mm-hmm.
They're both worth more to a team's success than Jack Morris. Neither of those guys got off the first ballot.
I don't understand it, Dorf. I really don't. I don't, because winning wins when you're a pitcher isn't an individual stat. It's not. There's so much that factor into wins and losses in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
it's not.
Just look at the Tigers in the late 2000s in their bullpen.
Yeah.
How many extra wins would Justin Verlander have if the Tigers bullpen didn't blow?
It's not. I mean, even it's. Even the surface stats, ERA, more of an individual stat. Highly influenced by defense. But then there's a backup stat to that. There's the FIP.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even weighted ERA too, so it doesn't penalize you as much for inherited runners being allowed to score.
Yeah,
they're only worth like a quarter of a run instead of a full run. That's a good way to measure it.
I like WHIP better than ERA too, though.
Yeah, I like the combination of like WHIP and slugging percentage. Opponent slugging percentage.
What was? See, his WHIP wasn't even good. He had a 1.296 WHIP.
Dude, career. That's like, honestly, if that was today, that's a bad middle reliever.
Yeah. At 1.296 is not a good WHIP. It's just not.
Didn't miss. I mean, at the same time, you're judging, 70s and 80s era strikeout numbers by modern standards. I mean, they weren't bad for the period.
Well,
but they weren't bad. They weren't excellent.
Looking for crying out loud, he led the league with 14 wins in 81. Ooh. 14 wins. How bad of a league had to be 14 wins win the league?
Once again, can't say wins are important and then say they're not important. And then
in that year too, he finished 3rd in Cy Young voting in the American League.
15th in the MVP.
15th in the MVP.
Well, realistically, if you get 15th in the MVP,
how bad was 1981? Jeez.
I don't know. I was like -10.
I wasn't even thought of yet.
It's funny though too, because there's some comments that came across here. Did these kids even watch Jack Morris play?
Yeah.
He retired when I was 3.
Who cares?
But here, I'll tell you what, guys, that gives me extra clarity. I don't have fond memories.
Yeah.
I just have data.
You're right.
Yeah.
I have data. And guys, by the numbers, you have no argument.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
You just put the 100. Okay, so you've got guys I just went through the top 75 that are guys that are retired in career WAR. You've got and that are eligible. You got like 15 guys in the top 75 that aren't there. And you put in the 149th? Which, okay, if we're going to go to the top 150 and you like lose your spot when you're out of the top 150, fine. But you got a lot of guys ahead of you.
See, this should be setting precedent, Dorf. It should be.
This is a bad precedent.
It is a bad precedent. Precedents don't have to be good, but this is setting a precedent.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't a lot of games for you, but you know what, guys? He wasn't the '80s was a pitching dark era, and B, he's just not that good. He was on a lot of very good teams.
Wins in World Series.
But when you try and compare him to the elite of the elite, which is what the class that he's trying to join, he doesn't belong. There's a reason, we can have a whole nother show, but the Hall of Fame election process, I think it's horse shit. Quite honestly, it should be players. It shouldn't be writers. It should be players. Quite honestly, if it was players, you'd see Bond, Sosa, McGuire, Clemens, Those guys would be in. Because you know what? Everybody was at that period. This is another topic for another time, and my thoughts on this are well documented.
There's not the politicking that happens with it too. If you're dealing strictly.
Oh, Barry was a dick to us. Well, you know what? He's the best fucking offensive player, arguably ever. You're gonna leave him out of the most exclusive clubs of exclusive clubs because he was a dick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Most professional athletes are dicks. Comes with the territory.
Except Mike Trout. Listen to Major Live coming up next on the Majors.net.
No, you just look at the elite players in today's game. Bryce Harper, dick. Manny Machado, dick. Max Scherzer, dick.
Is Max Scherzer a dick?
Oh, yeah. Have you seen him dressing down Steven Strasburg in the fucking dugout?
Oh, yeah, I forgot
did
about
see
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan Papelbon, dick.
Oh, my God.
He doesn't even play anymore.
Yeah. The guys that aren't, they don't have a lot of staying power, generally speaking. Chris Sale, dick.
Cuts up jerseys.
Cuts up jerseys. I'm sorry, that was awesome.
That was great.
Guys, I'm sorry. You may have a lot of fond memories of Jack Morris, but he doesn't belong at all.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
World Series, 84.
I still think Ellen Trammell, and I wrote this 2 years ago, he belongs in the Hall of Very Good. He's close. He's really, really close. Jack's not.
How many chances do you get with this?
They both had 15.
Mm-hmm.
15 straight years. Tram came close like twice. Jack came close a couple times too. But that was like 10 years before like in year 5 for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, they were barely hanging on and never gaining any momentum. And then this modern era committee bullshit. Like, it'd be one thing if for whatever reason that like there was the big giant conspiracy that all of a sudden Mariano Rivera doesn't get enough votes on the first ballot and he falls off. Oh shit, we goofed up here, guys. Let's bail him out. Fine. But really? Guys, he's not even just let me pull up my data sheet. I would like to keep going on this. I have more. It's linked on the article. You can find that at themajors.net. I believe it's the headline story right now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
My data sheet.
TheMajors.net and Detroit to TheMajors.net.
Oh, is it both?
Yep.
Okay. My data sheet. This is compared to every guy that went in as a starting pitcher. Jack Morris. He's worth 23 less wins than the average guy. That's not like 1 or 2. 23. You just look at the just in earned runs. He gave up 23% more earned runs than the average Hall of Famer. 23%! Over the course of a almost 20-year career, that's hundreds of runs. Hundreds of runs. The average ERA plus, like we got getting back to that. The average guy, the peak, the high on this list is 142. 140, so 42% better than the average in his era. That's sorry, it's actually going to be higher than that. I just can't zoom out far enough on the screen. Yeah, there's a 147 up there. Belongs to Walter Johnson. Jack Morris is 105. You know what that makes him right now? Let's see. Let's come up with somebody obscure here.
Pitcher?
Chad Kuhl. Does anybody even know in this town who that is?
Probably not.
It's the number 4 starter for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to pull it up and see if that was actually a pretty good guess or not. I don't know Chad Kuhl's ERA plus off the top of my head. Well, he's on the disabled list currently, so. Chad Kuhl. Is ERA plus this year? Oh, okay. That was close. It's 101. That was close. But you get my point.
you want to hear some of the comments, Dorf?
Sure, bring them at me. I want to respond.
I was just reading them.
I'm going to respond to them
All
one by one.
Probably a discussion among stat geeks.
Yeah, like it should be.
Yep, and that came from John. Rick said discussion by idiots that weren't even around or were too young to actually appreciate his value to the Tigers and to the game.
Well, here's the thing: the numbers say he really wasn't all that valuable.
Probably would have been elected sooner if he wasn't so anti-media. Not that there was anything wrong with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's better players that have been left out than him for being dicks, and that's the problem with the process. That still doesn't mean he's worthy.
John, it was a different game in the 80s. Pitchers still went 9 innings back then. It was a mentality.
Compared to the guys in the hall, he doesn't meet that standard. The guys that went in, that played in that era, or that style of game where guys, pitched every fourth day instead of every fifth and went the distance. He still doesn't live up to it.
Yep.
Sorry, come again. What's next?
Jim, please. Jack Morris was the best pitcher in the MLB in the 1980s, and that's all people. That's all people have.
That's all you got. Congratulations. 80s was a dark era for pitching.
Larry, number one category. I need a win. Who am I giving the ball to from 1982 to 1992?
Nolan Ryan.
Gene, Jack Morris was that good. Jason does agree with you. Highest ERA and lowest WAR of starters in. Somebody wants to know if you're on dope. Ed, blah, blah, blah.
Sorry, guys. I'll give the ball to Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, so there you go.
You're all wrong. Fight me. Anyway. Anything else, guys? We're going to move on here.
No.
All right. Football. So I want to discuss an article written by Jeff Moss at the Detroit Sports Rag here. I believe it was last night.
He says he's retired, but he's
well. If you look into the details, it's called "I'm too busy at work, so don't expect a regular schedule from me." You get what you get, peasants. That was kind of my understanding of it. Essentially, putting the Detroit Lions beat reporters on blast because first required media availability for Coach Matt Patricia since the sexual assault allegations resurfaced from it's about 22 years ago at this point, and not a single one of them asked him about him, and that he said it was their responsibility essentially to hound him about that until he got a satisfactory answer was given. While is this okay? Let's just start here. Fair criticism or not?
To pound the question?
Yeah, so is it a fair critic? So is Moss fair in criticizing the Detroit Lions beat writers for their lack of asking on day one of media availability?
Absolutely. Detroit has always been taken for a very, very light sports media town. Obviously, it's not. I mean, it's a respectable market. It's a big market, big TV market.
12th biggest in the country.
Yep. You always hear about that, despite what the population is within the city itself. It is a big market for TV. It's nowhere on par when it comes to the Boston
or New York
or
Philly
market or Philly market. As far as the
pressure,
tenacity, the pressure, exactly, when it comes to that media market as well. Media around this town is weak. Very, very weak. People get let off the hook for a variety of different reasons. Can you imagine?
Miguel Cabrera has essentially gotten away with murder.
Exactly. Can you imagine? And that's what I was just going to bring up, Dorf. Can you imagine if Miguel Cabrera was playing with the Yankees or the Mets or the Red Sox when he was sitting there getting drunk, making fun of kids in some hotel lobby, beating up his wife,
getting mistress pregnant multiple times. Yep,
getting mistress pregnant multiple times. DUIs, drinking with the opposition the night before games. I mean, what would happen if he was playing in another market? Well, not just any market, but like I said, the New York market, the Boston market, the Philly market,
Dallas.
He'd be ostracized. He'd be crucified. But here you get chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. That's why you're able to be an owner like the Fords have been for so long, and be able to keep a guy like Matt Millen around, who is sad to say.
Yeah,
dealing with that. I hate to bring that
we'll,
up.
We'll
but,
talk about that in the final segment. Of the
but again, you get left off the hook. You get a longer leash to to lead by, based on that media market. And we're getting a crash course in this nationally too, with what's going on in Washington. And the way that the media is responding to Donald Trump. And I don't want to bring anything like that up, but again, it's an example that we have when it comes to reporters pounding questions, reporters essentially doing their job. And right now you have a Lions head coach in today's day and age who falls into that category in terms of somebody being accused of sexual misconduct in their past. That's something that you have to answer for, especially as a head coach in the National Football League.
Okay.
That's something that reporters need to ask. That's something that they should ask.
All right, Sean, you got any? Okay. I don't disagree with anything you just said there. However, when you I'm going to say the comparison to Washington isn't perfect. You don't have a constitutional right to be a member of the press pool for the Detroit Lions. Whereas, you get in pretty icky, sticky constitutional grounds if you ban a reporter or a network who wants to cover the White House or politics and the U.S. government in general. I cannot blame, from my business perspective, whether it's reporters, editors, or even up higher than that, up to the newspaper owners, that if there's a gag order for these reporters, especially right now, the Tigers suck. These papers and these radio stations and these TV stations have not been making as much money as they're used to all summer long. They need to hit a home run with the Tigers. What's the best way where you can lose your access and that stream of revenue get cut out? What is the Lions PR machine likely to do if you run up there and ask that question every day? They'll revoke your press pass and you get locked out of Allen Park.
Hold on though, Dorf. We're not.
I'm not. I don't disagree with anything you said, but just let's put our business cap on here.
Let me retort here.
They have to think about that.
This isn't what are the blogs out there? The Sideline Report. This isn't the other one. They
still can get cut out, man.
This isn't SB Nation or anything like that getting cut out. We're talking about guys from M Live. We're talking about guys from the Detroit News. We're talking about guys from the Freep. Those guys are not going to get cut out. They're not.
You watch.
They're not. They will not get cut out. You're not going to be the Lions and sit here and cut out.
You don't think that wouldn't be totally the Lions' move to do?
You're not going to sit there and try to cut out. No, the Lions have learned their lesson in all of this.
I mean, just if you
believe, they have. They tried to take on 97-1 Mike Valenti, and they lost.
Look what they did to Mike Valenti.
They lost.
What
did they do to him? What did they do to him? He won. They tried to get him fired, but 97-1 chose Mike Valenti over the Lions.
I understand that. And you know how much money that cost CBS? Well, it's now Intercom.
Not much.
A lot.
Not much.
You know how much NFL broadcast rights are worth on the radio? Quite a bit. They took a huge revenue hit for that. And they probably took a ratings hit, too.
Somebody's bailing you out.
What?
The Jack Morris thing.
Oh, I have a friend?
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, friend.
I think it's Sean's brother.
Really? I want to see this.
Anyway. Well, and the other guy I think that was bailing us out was a former writer here.
Yeah.
Jason Bray. So, hey, Jason and I have always kind of seen eye to eye on that kind of stuff. So, I just think I was a little bit better at articulating it. But anyway, you got to look at it from the papers. Why is it worth risking?
Okay, if they do, how long are they going to ban them for? How long are the Lions going to ban the Freep?
The bear along,
and how long are the Lions going to ban the Detroit News? The two biggest papers in the city. They're not banning them for asking questions.
They don't need the papers anymore. They don't need them for coverage. They don't need them for publicity. They don't need them for hype. They don't need them to disseminate a message anymore. They have their own stenographers. They have their own website. They have a whole television network dedicated to televising that team sport. They have their own social. They don't need the papers.
Okay, on that note,
they could cut the unofficially allow them in the building, but never give them access to anybody important.
Okay, on that notion
is that
too,
from the newspaper's perspective, this is your prime moneymaker for your sports section. Is this worth it?
Okay, then you know
for
what?
you to not get an answer because you ain't going to get an answer.
Okay, on that notion,
practicing what they're going to every possible answer to that question.
On that notion, though, how much access do they need?
How many people? Well, okay. Well, this is going to get back to what the fundamental state of media is at this point. You're most valuable as a reporter for your Twitter feed.
Yes.
What you put out on Twitter, it's not your articles. It's what you can tweet as it breaks, which then gets people to click on articles later.
And the Detroit media is piss poor for that anyway.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is.
Who's the first one? Who's the first?
If that's a big source of revenue, is that worth risking putting in jeopardy to get a non-answer every time?
What, to get what, Twitter?
No, it ultimately ends up in website clicks and eyeballs and ad revenue. Is it worth putting that revenue?
You can get website clicks without being credentialed. There's tons of outlets out there that have proved it.
Yeah, because they all, like we don't have any reporters here. We've made all of our stuff based on reporting of other people, giving opinion on reports of actual reporters. And when that goes away, we die too. I mean, not that this is a cash-making enterprise. This is a hobby. But
I don't know. I don't buy it. And I'll tell you why. Because the Detroit sports market especially.
The papers are struggling already.
No, I understand that. I'm not arguing that either. The problem is, though, is nothing ever substantial comes out of the Detroit media market. Whatever you hear that happens always comes nationally. Always.
Fair.
Whether, but do you hear Vince Ellis ever breaking any Pistons trade or anything like that?
Well, that would require them to do something.
No, it's either Shams or Woj. Do you ever hear Paula Pash or Kyle Meinke ever breaking any Lions news, any Lions trade or anything? No, it's always Adam Schefter
or Rappaport.
Yeah. Don't hear anything coming out with the Tigers either. Usually, half the time when it's the Tigers, it's wrong.
Or John Morosi.
Yeah, it's John Morosi
actually in the area. He actually lives in the area.
Chris McCoskey. The last thing we heard anything from him, it was wrong.
Osmus was getting canned.
No, it wasn't that. It was Verlander turning down his trade with the Astros, which turned out to be a crock of shit. After that, it was no. He's going to the Astros. I don't know. This town needs to grow some balls. That's what they need to do. And they don't need to be out there spreading a bunch of fake shit, the fake news, blah 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 blah. They need to go out there. They need to grow some balls. They need to start asking some questions. You know what? You don't need to sit there and pound it with every single question. But you know what? You can ask the question at least once during a presser.
Sure. But was it a tactful move? I would argue that if it was intentional, I get why. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I get it. Anything else on this one, guys? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. The cut room floor. So Jim Harbaugh is apparently not a fan of chicken. He has advised his players. There's a quote from Wilton Spate. Now UCLA is a grad transfer. Told me to stop eating chicken because, quote, it was a nervous bird.
Oh my God.
The fuck does that mean? Anyway, Spade still does not eat chicken to this day.
No, he's sticking with it, huh?
Sticking with it, eh? Ziggy Ansah is starting training camp on the PUP list. Davon Kennard and Cornelius Washington on the non-football injury list.
It's not going to help his off-season.
Trade deadline days tomorrow. Still nothing broke since we started.
Nope, nothing. I haven't seen anything.
This is fucking dumb.
You jinxed it.
And Matt Millen needs a heart transplant. He's probably not going to be around much longer.
Yeah, it's a weird condition, sad condition. Did you hear about it? what the
I watched,
condition
like,
actually
the,
is.
the little ESPN blurb about it several months ago. But
What's basically happening is his body's it's producing this protein, like this rogue protein that is basically attacking his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very sad. Very.
He needs a heart very, very soon, otherwise he's not going to get around much.
He's what, 60-some years old?
I think he's in his 50s.
No, he's in his
I'll look
60s.
it up.
He's in his 60s.
Sure?
Yeah.
That's what's tough about it too. Is you have to figure that a heart transplant at 60, you're definitely not going to be at the top of the list.
He's 60.
He's 60 exactly.
Definitely not going to be at the top of the list. One more thing too. Did you hear Jim Caldwell is on the XFL?
No.
He's on
advisory committee.
Advisory committee.
What?
Him and John Fox.
Well, yeah, nothing else to do.
Those who can't do, teach, and those who can't teach,
Officiate.
no, those who can't teach, consult the XFL.
Well, the usual phrase is those who can't play, coach. Those who can't coach, officiate. What does that say about me? Anywho's. Anything else, guys? Well,
that's
I mean,
tough.
we'd have more time, but we did 5 minutes at the top about Sean's beard, so.
Hey.
It is a nice beard.
It is, yeah. Man,
It is
back
a
off.
very buck farmerish beard.
It is very.
Would you throw more strikes than him if we put you out
No.
there right now?
I wouldn't throw as hard as him, but I probably could throw more strikes. I'm probably, but not even close to throwing as hard as he could. Hasn't he hit like 94 this year or something like that?
He's been like higher than that, like 97, 98.
Yeah, I can barely hit 80 now. So,
But you guys, you are a doppelganger. Well, he's taller though too.
yeah, he's only like 6'3".
Probably.
Don't ask Sean
I'm
to be
5'10".
don't ask Sean to be a slow pitch softball pitcher.
You,
I can't. No.
you are a beard double though.
Yes, I am.
All right.
How much longer are you going to take it?
I'm not gonna trim it until probably.
Thanksgiving.
No, probably till if I ever get another promotion for work.
Oh, next time we have to interview for a job or something.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys?
No.
All right. That's going to wrap up this 170th episode of Motor City Uncut, presented by the Major Sports Network. Join us each and every week. We promise this time. Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the various smorgasbord platforms where you may be listening to us now, or on our website at detroit.themajors.net. So for Adam and Sean, I am Dorf. See you guys next week.